Alright, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. And in today's video of my broken Mustang, I'm going to be installing the heads. As you can see, I already went ahead and did this side. And I'm also going to be showing you guys how to install ARP head studs. Very simple process. And I'm going to show you the torque sequence, all the steps in installing heads on a 4.6. And this is a 2-valve, of course. And it's going to be the same if it's like a 4-valve, 3-valve, etc. Any 4.6 or 5.4 is basically going to be the same process. And real quick, if you haven't seen my previous videos, I went ahead and installed a GT500 oil pump along with the pickup tube, where I had to modify the pickup tube to get the oil pan to fit. That might be a common issue if you're going a high volume oil pump, so go ahead and check out that video if you're installing one of those on your motor. Also, I went ahead and put new valves and beehive valve springs in because I am doing a bigger size cam. So that video is also up on my channel. I'll probably leave a link to them in the description, or there might be a card in the corner somewhere. I'm not too sure. But yeah, let's go ahead and get started with this install. So like I said, I am installing ARP head studs. These are ARP 2000s, and I highly recommend doing these, especially if you're going especially if you have a boosted application. What these these basically do is, in a very simple point of view, they have a lot more clamping force on the head, compared to head bolts. And ARP head studs are actually reusable, unlike head bolts, because head bolts, when you torque them down, you actually have to stretch the bolt when you're in. It's part of the torquing sequence, and they're basically just not reusable. But ARP head studs are reusable, and they're a lot stronger. So ARP does provide engine fastener assembly lube. However, it's not as one packet, I feel like, is not enough. So I did go ahead and buy a whole bottle. And one big reason why I got this bottle is because there is actually a brush, and this brush is a lot better for when you're applying the lube onto the threads. And I obviously have a lot now, so now I don't have to be careful about how much I apply. Like on this side, I was being kind of careful, wasn't using too much. We kind of use up most of the packet. Sorry, I'm kind of a little sick, but here, now that I have plenty and a brush, it will be a lot easier. So basically, you want to lubricate on the ARP head studs. You want to go ahead and lubricate the all the threads. So basically, I'm going to take the brush and I'm just going to go ahead and put lubrication all over, in between the threads and everywhere. And then there you go, I lubed it pretty well. And then after that, you're just going to go ahead and hand tighten it as much as you can into the block. And then you want to make sure that the head stud does bottom out all the way. And also on top of the head stud, we can put an Allen key on and tighten the head stud down just a little bit. ARP recommends to hand tighten it down all the way, but I like to just get the Allen key and just go just a little turn just to make sure that I'm all the way down and these are even. So now I'm gonna go ahead and do the same to the rest of the head studs. Okay, so I went ahead and got all the head studs on. Now after that, like I said earlier, there is a little Allen key on top. So I do have a ratchet with a Allen key bit. So what I'm gonna do for each head stud, I'm gonna just go give it just a small little turn. Basically what I'm doing is just making sure that the head stud is all the way at the bottom or bottomed out. And then as you can see where I'm holding the ratchet, I'm holding it right here because I don't want to turn too much. If it is turning from right here, then it wasn't bottomed out. If it's not moving at all, then you're good. Like that one didn't move. This one didn't move, so those are good. This one I had to go a little bit, and so forth. So you just go ahead and check all of them. You want to make sure all the head studs are at an even height. So what I'm doing is I'm just going down and I'm just kind of eyeballing it, and it looks pretty good. All the head studs are even. So now I can go ahead and go on to the next step. And now that I went ahead and checked all the head studs and seen if they're good, Now I'm going to go ahead and lubricate the top of all the threads. And then same way as I lubricated the bottom, I'm just going to go ahead and use the brush and just make sure I get in between all the threads and make sure that all of them are properly lubed. So while I'm going through all of these and I'm lubricating them, you know, my curiosity, you know, for the comment section below for my 3.5 people that are watching this video, what are you guys doing to your cars? You know, are you also doing a boost application like me? Are you doing an NA build and you're doing polished, fully ported heads? You know, go ahead and leave it in the comments. So, you know, those 2.5 people that are watching, you know, I can read your comment. And also, if any of you guys are doing a drift build, you know, maybe leave your Instagram in the comment section. I'll give you a follow. Oh, and you know, good chance. Let me plug my Instagram. There, bam, there you go. Follow me on Instagram. You know, I like to post stuff all about my car, of my friends' cars, every time I upload a video, etc. All that good stuff. So yeah, give me a follow. But yeah, like I was saying, if any of you guys out there do a drift Mustang build, especially the 99 to 04s, or even the years before that, the SN95 chassis, I assume, you know, maybe leave it if you have an Instagram, you know, give me a follow. I'd like to, you know, I don't see too many people drifting these cars. So, you know, it'd be interesting to see other people's builds and, you know, how they are doing with that. You know, that's for my 1.5 viewers that are still watching my video. Okay, so now that I went ahead and did all of the head studs, next I am going to go ahead and clean the deck surface or the block surface. As you can see, there is a little bit of lube around here. That was from when I was installing the head studs. And also you want to make sure the surface is clean as possible, so that way when you're putting the head gasket on, it can seal as properly as it can seal really nice. That's what I'm trying to say. So just some brake cleaner onto a towel. I'm just going to go ahead and wipe and clean up everything. Okay, so I went ahead and cleaned all of I cleaned all the lube off. I cleaned the rest of the surface. So now I can go ahead and get the head gasket and lay the head gasket down. Okay, and for the head gasket, I did get the OEM head gasket or the Ford Performance head gasket. I highly recommend going with OEM or Ford Performance. They are probably the best head gasket that you could use. And for when you're putting the head gasket on, it can only go one way. There is a hole right here in the block. Usually I just go ahead and line up those marks with each other. Just like that. And there you go. That's it. Head gasket goes straight on. You don't put like silicone or anything like that. You just put the head gasket directly on. And then also the dowels, as you can see, those holes are bigger than these ones, so you could not put the backwards even if you tried. Well, you probably can, but yeah. Cool. And then after that, you want to go ahead and get the head. You can go ahead and lay the head down. Okay, so now I got the head. Basically, I'm just going to go ahead and use the head studs as a guide to line them in. Okay, and there you go. Now I can go ahead and grab the washers and start putting the washers on. Okay, and for the washers actually have two sides. One is completely flat, one has a stamp on it. So the stamp side will actually go face down, pressing on the cylinder head. And then what I'm doing is on the flat side, I am just applying just a little bit of lubrication. Just like that. And then I'm gonna go ahead and drop the nut in like that. Like I said, stamp side will go towards the bottom. I'm gonna go ahead and do that for the rest of them. Alrighty, now that we have all the washers on, I can go ahead and get the nuts. And I can go ahead and start lubricating these and putting these on. So for the nut, you're gonna go ahead and just lubricate the bottom And then also you want to just kind of get into the middle of the nut as well onto the threads, and then go ahead and screw them on by hand. And then after you went ahead and lubricated them and put them by hand, I did go ahead and get a 11/16 socket. I highly recommend using 11/16. 11/16 is a perfect fit. If you don't, you can use 18, but it is going to be a little bit off, but I think you should still be fine. So what basically I'm going to do is I'm going to hand tighten all of them with the socket. And I don't think it matters, but I'm kind of OCD like this. I am going in the torque sequence while I do this. It's just, you know, I think I'm just being OCD. I don't really think you have to do it like this. But after I finish this, I can go ahead and show you guys the torque sequence. Okay, so first I have my 3/8 torque wrench. And the reason for that is because the first torque sequence is actually going to be to 30 foot-pounds. So you want to go ahead and follow the torque sequence as ARP does provide for you. But if you are looking for a torque sequence, here you go, this is it. And one thing I should mention, if you are doing this torque if you are installing the heads, but you're not doing an ARP stud head install like how I am, and you're doing the factory bolts, you actually need to go to Ford's torque sequence and follow that torque sequence. This is the incorrect torque sequence for that. But if you are like me and doing ARP head studs, a head stud kit, then this is the correct torque sequence. And these are ARP 2000s, by the way. So first, I'm gonna go ahead and do the first nut, which will be right here. And I'm gonna just, oh, whoops. Maybe I should set my torque wrench to the correct torque first. Like I said, 30 foot-pounds, so let me go ahead and put this at 30 foot-pounds. Okay, and then I'm gonna go ahead and lock the nut at the bottom. So now that my torque wrench is set to 30 foot-pounds, I'll go ahead and begin torquing. So this is the cam gear right here, so which will be the front of the engine right here. So I'm gonna go ahead and start off with number 1 right there, and I'm gonna just keep going until I hear the click. Okay, it clicked, and then number 2 is right here. Okay, and then number 3. And then one big tip for when you are torquing down the heads, you want, when you're moving the torque wrench, you don't want to move in different speeds. So you don't want to go, you know, like really fast and then slow down. You want the torque wrench to move at a consistent speed, and you don't want to be constantly moving the torque wrench back. Once you're getting close to the torque, you want to consistently go all the way to that to the click. So for example, see how I don't stop, like it clicked right here, but I didn't, you know, go and then stop, go and stop, back, go backwards. I am starting at one spot and I'm going all the way to 30 foot-pounds. I don't know, that sounded like a really bad explanation in my head, but I hope you guys get the point of what I was trying to say. Okay, so now that I am done with the number 1 torque sequence, I'm gonna go ahead and move on to number 2, which will be in the same sequence. I'll be torquing them to 60 foot-pounds. So now that I'm going up to 60 foot-pounds, I am switching over to my very expensive precision 1/2-inch torque wrench. And I do not have a deep socket 11/16, so I am going to be using extension. So instead of going to 60, I'm just going to go a little bit over. So I'm going to go to 63 foot-pounds instead of 60. And the reason why I'm doing that is because when you have an extension on a torque wrench, the extension actually will flex and twist while you are torquing it down. So the torque will actually be a little bit less than what you have it down for. So I have it, so if I put the torque wrench to 60, I'll be torquing it around maybe like 57, 56 foot-pounds. But now that I put it up to 63, it should be right around 60 foot-pounds. 1 or 2 foot-pounds is not gonna make a huge difference, but you know, I like to be on the safe side and I like to be accurate as possible. But you know, if you're one of those people that you don't care about the 1 or 2 foot-pounds, then you can just put it at 60. But I recommend putting it around 63 or maybe even 65, but I think 63 will be good. And so same thing. Oh, I moved the engine stand. I had it, as you can see earlier, I had it up here. The reason why I moved it down here is so now that when I'm torquing, I can press down, because at 30 foot-pounds going like this is easy. But now that you're going to 60 foot-pounds, you will need a lot more force when pressing down. So that's why I moved it down this way. So same sequence, I'm going to do all of them to 60 foot-pounds. 1. Okay, so now that that torque sequence is done, now I can move on to the third and final torque sequence, which will be at 85 foot-pounds. But same thing, since I have the extension, 75, 80, 85. I'm going to go right around 88, 87 to 88 foot-pounds, a little bit higher, just so I'm getting the proper torque. And same thing, it'll be in the same exact sequence. You're never going to be changing the sequence for some reason. So, yeah, let me go ahead and torque the rest down. Okay, and then like I said, that was the third and final torque sequence. So after that, you are done with the installation. And there you go, that is the process. It's actually pretty easy, especially if you have the motor outside of the vehicle. If you are doing it inside the vehicle, you're gonna have to put the head on first, then the head studs. But other than that, it's basically the same process, except for, you know, you're gonna have a little bit difficulty getting it, you know, in and out because you're working in the car instead of out of the car. But if you have it out on the engine stand, super easy process. And yeah, that's about it for today's video. Cool, so thank you guys so much for watching today's video of how to install heads on a Mustang 4.6. I hope this video helped you out. And you know, now I am one step closer into getting my Mustang running. It's been over a year. Make sure you guys check out all my other videos. I will be uploading more videos. I'm doing a independent rear Cobra IRS swap. I'm also doing a angle kit in the front with a Maxim Motorsports K member. And you know, this thing is getting a lot of boost too. Well, not a lot of boost, but I am boosting it as well. So make sure you guys tune into all the videos. And I just can't wait to get this thing running, man. So yeah, make sure you follow me on Instagram as well. That's where I post, you know, photos of my car, and I like to post progress of everything. And yeah, that's it for today's video. See you guys in the next one.